Message. Those three letters have been blamed for everything from headaches to mystery restaurant sickness. Some menus proudly shout, "No MSG," like it's a toxic waste warning. But here's the confusing part. The same flavor molecule connected to MSG is naturally found in tomatoes, Parmesan cheese, mushrooms, soy sauce, and seaweed, foods people celebrate as real and healthy. So what is MSG really? And why did it become one of America's most controversial seasonings? MSG stands for monosodium glutamate. The name sounds intense, but the structure is simple: sodium plus glutamate. Glutamate is related to an amino acid, glutamic acid, and is extremely common in nature. When you add MSG to food, it dissolves and separates into sodium and glutamate, similar to how table salt separates into sodium and chloride in water. A key point that gets missed online: your body doesn't treat glutamate from MSG as a special alien substance. Chemically, glutamate is glutamate, whether it came from MSG crystals, a tomato, or aged cheese. MSG is famous because it boosts umami, the savory taste that makes soups taste deeper, meat taste meatier, and snacks taste dangerously one more bite. Umami is considered the fifth basic taste, along with sweet, salty, sour, and bitter. Glutamate activates umami taste receptors, which signals your brain: this is rich. This is satisfying. That's why MSG works best in foods like broths and soups, gravies and sauces, stews, chili, stir-fries, roasted vegetables, savory snacks. It usually doesn't taste like a new flavor. It makes the existing savory flavors feel more complete. If MSG scares you because it sounds chemical, this part matters. Free glutamate naturally appears in many foods, especially when they're cooked, aged, fermented, or dried. Examples: Parmesan and other aged cheeses, tomatoes, especially cooked down, mushrooms, soy sauce, and fermented products. Seaweed. Kombu is famous for umami. So if someone says, "I never eat MSG," but they love pizza with Parmesan, pasta with tomato sauce, or mushroom soup, they're already eating a lot of naturally occurring glutamate. MSG didn't start as a modern American food industry trick. In 1908, Japanese chemist Kikuchi Ikeda identified glutamate as a key source of umami while studying kombu seaweed broth. That discovery helped formalize umami as a distinct taste sensation, and MSG became a standardized seasoning, basically a purified, consistent way to add that savory boost. Modern MSG is typically produced by fermentation, a process similar in spirit to making yogurt, vinegar, or soy sauce. Carbohydrate sources like sugar or starch are fermented, then glutamate is purified and combined with sodium to form monosodium glutamate. So yes, it's manufactured, but so are many familiar foods produced through fermentation and purification. MSG's U.S. reputation was heavily shaped by a 1968 letter published in a New England Journal of Medicine. A physician described symptoms after eating at Chinese restaurants: headache, numbness, palpitations. The media and public conversation latched onto it, and the phrase "Chinese restaurant syndrome" spread widely. Important context: that publication was a letter, not a controlled clinical trial. It wasn't designed to isolate MSG from other variables like alcohol consumed with the meal, very salty dishes, large portion sizes, other additives or ingredients, expectation and suggestion, the nocebo effect. Over time, MSG became a cultural villain, often tangled with unfair stigma toward Chinese food, while many other cuisines used glutamate-rich ingredients without the same backlash. Once a claim becomes popular, the real question is, can it be reproduced under controlled conditions? Researchers used double-blind, placebo-controlled studies, meaning people receive MSG or a placebo without knowing which one, so expectation doesn't hijack the result. Across controlled studies and reviews, the pattern looks like this. For most people, typical MSG in food does not reliably trigger symptoms under blinded conditions. Reports of MSG reactions are often inconsistent when tested properly. In some experiments, symptoms are more likely when people consume very large doses, especially without food, for example, MSG dissolved in liquid on an empty stomach, which doesn't match how most people encounter MSG in real meals. A well-known multi-center study and review in the Journal of Nutrition, Geha et al., 2000, found that true, consistent MSG hypersensitivity appears to be rare and reactions were not consistently reproducible across challenges. The U.S. FDA classifies MSG as GRA, generally recognized as safe. The FDA also notes that some people report short-term symptoms like headache or flushing after eating MSG, but these reports have been difficult to consistently confirm in rigorous, blinded tests, especially at normal dietary levels. So the official view isn't MSG is fake news and nobody reacts, but it's also not MSG is dangerous. It's closer to safe for the general population, with some self-reported sensitivity that isn't consistently reproducible for most people. Some of the fear around MSG is really fear about sodium, which is a separate issue. MSG contains sodium, but much less sodium by weight than table salt. Roughly speaking, table salt is about 39% sodium, while MSG is about 12% sodium. That means, in some recipes, using a little MSG can maintain savory satisfaction while allowing a reduction in added salt, if someone cooks thoughtfully. This doesn't make MSG a health supplement. It's simply a tool that may help reduce total sodium in certain dishes without making food taste bland. A common scary claim online is MSG is an excitotoxin that fries your brain. Reality is more nuanced. Glutamate does function as a neurotransmitter in the brain, but dietary glutamate is largely processed in the gut and metabolism, and the body regulates levels tightly. The brain also has protective mechanisms, including the blood-brain barrier, that help control what enters brain tissue. So the jump from glutamate exists in the brain to eating MSG damages your brain is not supported the way viral posts suggest, especially at normal culinary use. If you want to try MSG at home, start with a small pinch, then taste. Use it where umami belongs: soups, stews, sauces, stir-fries, roasted veggies. Combine with salt. MSG boosts savoriness but doesn't fully replace salt's salty hit. Don't overdo it. Too much can make food taste oddly flat or overly savory. Pro tip from food science: umami can feel even stronger when glutamate pairs with certain compounds like inositol/guanylate, found in foods such as meat, fish, and some mushrooms. One reason broths and meat dishes respond so well. MSG is monosodium glutamate, sodium plus glutamate, a common compound tied to umami that also exists naturally in many foods. The loudest myths don't match the strongest evidence. Major regulators recognize MSG as safe for the general population at normal dietary use, and controlled studies suggest consistent sensitivity is uncommon, though individual reactions can still exist. If a label scares you, it's worth asking, are we reacting to the molecule or to the story we've heard about it?